Time to address America's point of unity. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to Transitional News, where we view current events through a prophetic lens. I'm Sherry Erb.
And I am Mary Beth McElroy.
And we are talking about America's
Yes.
turning point, which is basically really we're talking about unity tonight.
Yes, it is about unity.
Yeah, point of unity. And we just finished, or you just finished talking.
I did.
Listening about the president's State of the Union last night.
Yes, and I watched all of it, and we're recording a day after the State of Union address. And we know that this is going to be a topic of conversation, not only just now, but for several weeks to come. Because what became very apparent and actually very alarming was that when the President of the United States was talking about the unity and the places of America to celebrate together and to give honor, it was obvious that there was a great division. And that brought my heart sadness. It was on display, not just in that room, but across the media and across the nations.
You know, when you have unity, it's a group of people who are diverse in their thought processes, right? But they have a common passion and a common goal. And this is what makes America, the United States of America, so beautiful. I don't know if you guys remember from history, but technically we have 51 different governments that come together and work in unity, right? We got 50 states, and then we've got one federal government. And they come together for the purpose of the American citizen, those that say, this is my country.
Yes.
And even we were talking about how the Pledge of Allegiance says, right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and what? To the republic for which it stands. That's the structure of the government that works to keep the unity of all these different states coming together. I mean, that's amazing. 50 different states coming together with, similar goals and yet some different ones, but coming for a common purpose and a common passion. And how sad.
It was sad.
That there could not even be, when a hand was put out and said, hey, here can be a point of unity for the United States. Let's lay aside the fact that you don't like personalities, because here's the deal. There's going to be people's personalities we just don't like, right? Whether they're in Congress, our next door neighbor, sometimes family members, right? Personality clashes. It's normal human life. And so just breathe. It's normal human life. But when a hand comes out and says, I think we can find a common point here, and this can bring unity. And then for someone to stand back and go, oh no, I choose to hang on to my political view instead. I choose to hang on to my own wound. I choose to hang on to my own viewpoint. And because I'm not interested in the whole coming together in unity. I'm just interested in my own thing.
Yes. And with that, I really do believe that it is really time for all of us to take inventory of our own thoughts, our own lives, our own beliefs. If we are a nation that our Pledge of Allegiance says one nation under God, indivisible, we are saying the Pledge of Allegiance. That is for our nation.
Yeah.
And we are decreeing we are a nation that is indivisible, but the display is we are divided.
Yeah.
And so how do we get back to the point of unity? Where do we turn? How can we begin to move in that direction? And I was pondering even as I'm thinking of these things from last night, is that biblically, when you look biblically, you will see when priests found the original intent of God for the nation of Israel. And Josiah was the youngest, and he began to immediately make changes. Yeah. He began to immediately bring the Israel back to the covenant of which they had with God. And if that meant to destroy idols, we destroyed idols. If it meant to tear down something, we tore down something. We brought it back to the original intent. And whether we agree on this or not, we must agree that we are one nation under God.
Yeah.
Our President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, whether we like him as a person or not, we are one nation under God.
Yeah.
And he has called for May 17th to be a rededication of this nation to God. Oh, can I believe, Sherry?
Yes.
Can I believe
Yes.
that this would be the moment? Yes, I want to believe this can be a breaking the chains of a people out of captivity so that America can fulfill her prophetic destiny across the earth.
You know, and economic growth, it happens when people in an industry or in a sphere, right, or a mountain like the economic mountain, when they come together in unity and create a new product, right?
Yes.
If they come together in unity and
Yes.
say, like a chamber of commerce, right,
Yes.
within a city or within a state that says, hey, we're going to invite these industries in here because we want prosperity for our citizens within our borders, right? And so we live in Oklahoma. So the state of Oklahoma has said, those that live in Oklahoma, that's our priority. We want to make sure Oklahomians, right, are prospering. We want to make sure they're physically healthy. We're dealing with healthcare. That is their thing. Is we've got to deal with the citizens of Oklahoma. And how much more on the federal level when we've got to deal with the citizens first and foremost. There's a priority.
Yes.
Even when you're in a family unit, there's a priority. And the priority is the husband and wife as the unit first, then the children second. And when you get things out of priority, then there is this unbalanced scale that ends up causing an issue down the road. And we have become unbalanced in America in our unity. We've got to come back into a place of unity. Do you care whether or not he's a Republican? Can I just say to you, who cares? Can you see a policy that you're like, you know something, I can agree with part of that policy, maybe not all of it, but part of it. Then come together in unity on that piece of the policy. It doesn't mean you have to agree to the whole thing. It doesn't even mean that you're 100% behind someone. If you can find a point of unity, you can change the world. You can literally change a city, change a state, change your family, change your own body, change your own, you can come into, let's say, example, natural, your physical body. You come into agreement with the personal trainer, and the personal trainer says to you, you know something, we need to work on your arms. They're getting pretty flabby. So let's start out with, 2-pound weights, and I want you to do this exercise, this, this, and this. You have to come into a unity with that to agree and actually do those things, and then you begin to benefit from that, right? If you choose not to come into unity with your personal trainer, guess what? You're either going to leave the gym, you're going to fire them, or you're going to do something wrong and end up injuring yourself. And it's the same way with a nation. We've got to come together. Can you walk away from your party's coat? Can you take the coat off of a Republican?
Right.
Can you take the coat off of being a Democrat?
Yes.
Can you take a coat off of being an independent or libertarian and find a place of unity? America's at a crossroads. Would you help her rebuild her wall of unity in this season?
Yes. And I believe that is already our exhortation to you tonight. And to build this wall of unity, we are operating truly like a nation without walls, a nation that is literally falling and deteriorating. And therefore, we are a nation that is to be united as one. We just had an amazing moment in the Olympics where the United States hockey team, by all means, did not look like or should have gone all the way and would have won against Canada, but they did. And when they were interviewed, it was amazing. They were one. Yeah. They were completely one. And I heard the coaches say, we chose them not based on their skill, necessarily their hockey skill, their skill, their playing skill. We chose them on their character and their brotherhood. Brotherhood. That is a message. Where has our brotherhood gone for America?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember the song. There's a song about brotherhood. That's one of our theme songs, God Bless America, right? And so talking about brotherhood, right? that's how you become a team, right? And
Yes.
and we want the
One
diversity.
goal.
So
One
we're
goal.
not talking about diversity here,
Right.
folks, right? Again, who cares what color your skin is? Who cares what color your hair or eyes are? Who really truly gives a care? If that matters to you, then that's a personal problem you must deal with individually. As a nation, we don't care, and our history shows how diverse we come together with color.
Yes.
But
Yes.
diversity really comes from the thought processes of individuals. That's where true diversity exists. And it shows maturity when you can say, I disagree with you here, here, and here, but I can agree with you here.
Right.
This is going to be
Right.
the best thing. And it says, you know, one of the reasons why walls are so important, right? Building this wall of unity as a nation,
Yes.
American
Yes.
nation.
Yes.
We've got other nations on the global scale, right, who want America to no longer exist.
That's right.
And so we have to come together, build that wall of unity. Walls are very symbolic. Even in the Bible, they were very symbolic. They represent security. It represents
Yes.
protection.
Yes.
It also, believe it or not, in Psalms talks about how it's a wall can also represent God's presence. Right? Very
Yes.
interesting. It also talks about restoration and divine favor that comes when you build a wall. It also talks about salvation and praise and symbolizes peace and divine blessing. There's something about having a wall of unity that can get rid of an enemy, the one that wants to destroy, the one that wants to kill,
Yes.
the one that wants
Yes.
to steal.
Yes.
Right? And so
Yes.
instead of having the knee-jerk reaction, the hyper reaction,
Mhm.
it's not that people
Yeah.
don't care about individual people. We do.
Yes.
Because without people, there would be no nation.
there would be
right?
no nation.
It would just be empty.
Right.
Right. So people are vital in this, but we have to come back. What's the common goal? And we want to encourage you as we end this session. Where can you find unity with your own physical body and your own soul? Where can you find unity with God? Where can you find unity in your family?
Yes.
Where can you find unity in your church, right? In your business, your job, your state, your city, your nation? Where can you find the point of unity?
Yes. And I would say that for myself, I'm going to relook at my relationships. I'm going to relook at things that I have my hand to, things that I'm building, things that I'm creating, and relook. And truly, that's going to be my point of interest is where is this point of unity? Where is it that I need to drop a few of my own perspectives or the way I see something in order to bring unity that we can work together for the common goal?
Yeah.
And that's where our nation is. I have to say this one last thing. As the walls have been put again around our nation, in the natural, our borders, in the natural, I can see it prophetically that it can happen now in the spirit. It can happen in our families. Our families have been divided. What if we get that point of unity in families and the family begins to strengthen, and then the nation begins to strengthen, and then we can truly walk out our prophetic destiny to be a light on the hill to the nations.
Yes. We're so glad you joined us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.